Hey guys, so today we are going to be talking about how to clean your Cricut mats. This is a question I get asked a lot, and so today we are trying everything, kind of from what I do to other tricks I've heard, things like that. So we are going to be going through the green, the pink, the purple, and the blue mat, and going to be testing a bunch of stuff to see which one actually really cleans it the best and kind of renews that stick to it. So we're going to be trying magic erasers, the awesome that you hear about from Dollar Trees, 99-cent stores, Windex. This is just a non-toxic I get from Trader Joe's that I like. Dawn, baby wipes, lint roller. And we are just going to be kind of going through and seeing which one works the best, which is the best bang for your buck, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's jump into it and start cleaning some mats. Okay, so we're just going to start with a few mats. So just to begin with, the best way to keep your mats from losing the stick and thing is to always put your covers back on them. So these plastic covers that come with the mats, keep them. Always put them back on when you're done and store them flat or hang them up. So you can see we are going to be trying to clean some dirty mats here. So my first go-to are baby wipes. You know, any kind of wipes that you actually use. The alcohol-free ones, because the mats, they have, you know, the sticky stuff on it that you don't want to actually scrape it all off. So we're just trying to clean in it. So first one's dry. So I'm just going to get a baby wipe and start kind of going in circular patterns. Just try to get stuff up. And you can see already that it's starting to bring stuff up. These are just dollar store ones, so they're actually kind of cheaper ones, so probably need a couple of them. And you're just going to keep the circular motions. Going around. So. Okay, so I'm just going to do kind of the top fourth on this one so we can compare methods here. So this one is a pretty dirty mat. I probably let's just say one that is quite not as dirty. I just have a lot of dog hair, so it's still sticky, you can see. But the thing with mats and to getting good cuts, especially intricate cuts, if you're doing very small vinyl, cardstock, things like that, all this hair and little parts in there can mess up your cuts. So if you have dogs like I do, hair seems to fly all over the place. So I also use, since I don't have babies anymore in the house, we use flushable wipes. I know. But these are also ones I like to use. They're a little bit thicker and easier to kind of maneuver. Okay, so you see all that stuff that comes off, the hair, and it's getting clean up there. Lots of stuff, so I kind of just turn it over so we have a new side. Okay, so just with that, you can see how much cleaner all the hair is off of it. I'm going to let it dry a little bit, and then we can kind of see how sticky it is again. Okay, so that is with wipes. The next thing we are going to try is this magic eraser, which I actually have never tried before. So I was kind of interested to see what it would do. Okay, so I'm going to put towels down underneath. Whoops. And we are going to do the other side of this mat. So this, it says, I'm just going to dip it in my water bowl here. Okay, and then we're going to try and rub this. Move this so it doesn't spill. So this is a little bit harder. At least for me, this is harder to use. It doesn't quite. Whew. And it rips. So this for me is not quite as easy to use. It does get it clean, but it's definitely harder to kind of maneuver in there. So, okay, so now we're gonna clean it with Dawn, which is a gentle soap. You don't want to use like a hand soap or anything with oils and stuff in that. And I put a board in my sink just so I don't bend the mat, because obviously the sink dips down a little bit. So I'm just going to put this in and run some warm water over it. And I'm going to use a soft sponge. So again, we don't want to scrape all the adhesive off of it. So I'm not going to use the abrasive side, just the soft side, or you can use like a washcloth. Just going to put a little bit of Dawn on it, and then just gently start rubbing around. If you can see, that stuff's already, the little black stuff is already coming up there. So I'm just going to kind of keep working. And the corners are always kind of the hardest, of where things stick down, especially if you're using a lot of cardstock. And a piece of vinyl. So this corner is still a little hard to get off. I'm going to try with my other side very lightly, just to kind of get those off. Okay, and then I'm going to rinse that off and let that dry. So I can see right off the bat, there's still, I mean, it's not crystal clean. There's still some black and some stuff on it, but once it dries, we will see how that goes. Then I'll just stick with blue mats for now. So you can see this is barely sticky at all anymore. So now we are going to use, this is actually what I use, and it is just a Trader Joe's brand all-purpose cleaner. And so I'm going to spray it all over the entire mat, so that there's pretty much liquid on all parts of it. Okay, and then I'm just gonna let it sit for like a minute or two. And then we're gonna scrape it. So while that is sitting, I wanted to show you on the pink mats, these are the fabric mats. They have a much less adhesive on it than the other ones. So they're very kind of fragile with the cleaners. You don't actually want to rub or scrape things off of it because it will scrape it into it. So I know Cricut always recommends just taking things off with tweezers or using a lint brush. So you can actually kind of roll this, and you can see it takes up the hair and things like that. So it gets it cleaner, but not totally clean. Baby wipes are usually not recommended on this, but I do use it kind of lightly and gently go over stuff. Oops, and you try not to get, as I do, my fingers right on the middle of it because you can transfer grease and stuff. So I've never had a problem using baby wipes on my pink mat. So you should just try it and kind of see what method you'd like. And again, you can see that that's picking up all sorts of stuff. Okay, and again, just let it air dry for a few minutes and then put the paper back on. Okay, so let's go back to, this was the one that I had my Trader Joe's one on, and then I'm just going to use my scraper and just start scraping this stuff, and I will kind of clean, because that stuff gets yucky all over there, and I will wipe it off. And you can use your big scraper too, if you have it. Go a little bit faster. And that's why you want to make sure you have it on a towel or in the sink or something, because all that stuff will kind of come off of it. So now all that stuff is up and loose. Get it off, and then I like to go back in with a wipe. And wipe it off. And if it's still wet, you can use a paper towel. You just want to be careful that it doesn't get dry, because then the paper towel will kind of stick in there. But while it's still wet, you can kind of push it off. Okay, so that's nice and clean now. So I'm going to let this one dry. Okay, so this was the one that I used the wipes on, and now look, totally sticky again. Shouldn't put your hands on it. But I just wanted to show you that now it will stick much better again. Okay, so let's try one with this awesome spray that I see and hear a lot about. So it says right on it, you need to dilute it. It says dilute before use. And here's the concentrations. I did mine 1 to 5. So I actually just dumped out a bunch of this till about here and then added water to the rest of the bottle. So we're going to do it kind of the same way and spray the mat until it's fully wet. Okay, and kind of let that sit again for a few seconds. So you can see this was a pretty dirty mat from using a lot of black cardstock or craft board on here. So that's when the mats will get the dirtiest, is usually the cardstock. Felt always make a huge mess. I just have a mat set aside just for felt because that makes a mess. Vinyls usually aren't too bad, but like I said, if you want to use something like this, this would cause all sorts of problems if I was cutting something very intricate with all the little pieces and stuff. Okay, so again, I'm going to start scraping that, not at like a 90 degree, but just kind of okay, so all that black stuff is coming up. So since it's pretty wet, I'm just going to use some paper towels to get all the extra stuff off. And I need more paper towels. Okay, and you can see how well that works. The edges, again, are always going to be the hardest. I might just put a little bit more on and wait a little bit. Okay, so look how nice and clean that is. It does work really well. So again, I'm going to let it air dry for about 10 minutes or so. And so now we're going to try this on a really dirty strong grip mat that I used to cut chipboard and wood. So this is probably not even a mat I would use again. So we are going to try and see if we can get it clean. So it still has stick to it, but definitely has all that stuff in the grits. So this one, I'm going to try to actually use Windex. I'm going to put Windex on half of it and see what that does. And then on the other half, we're gonna try the all-purpose one. Okay, and let that sit. Okay, so we're gonna start trying to push some of this off. Okay, so that's the Windex side. So this is the all-purpose side, and this is definitely getting more stuff off. See all that stuff come up. Oops, did not want to do that. That is pretty amazing. Okay, so that worked actually really well. I mean, it still has an indentation just because they cut all the way through, but that actually cleaned it pretty well, way better than the Windex did. So I'm actually gonna try just in the middle part, my Trader Joe's cleaner, and see how that does. Okay. So that's actually cleaning off pretty well too. Probably not quite as clean as the Totally Awesome, but definitely better than the Windex. So, and like I said, this was a super dirty mat, so I just wanted to see kind of what those ones would do. So those are kind of the basic ways to clean your mat. So my go-to, like I said, is baby wipes. And you can see with all of our mats that we've cleaned, like I said, not to put your hands on it, but I want to show you that it's sticky again. So they're nice and clean. The adhesive is still there. So this was another one. So those are with the wipes. And again, this one's nice and sticky again. Everywhere and clean. This one is the one I cleaned with Dawn and a sponge. So to me, this was kind of a harder way to do it, and it really didn't clean it all that well. So for me, I am going to stick to using the wipes for kind of maintenance cleanup, you know, after I do a few projects when it starts to get dirty. And then sticking to this awesome spray. This is Dollar Tree, 99-cent store is where I got it. Again, you want to dilute it so it will last a long time. So this and the wipes would be my two go-tos that I think work best with the Cricut mats. So if there's something else that you found, I would love to hear about it. You can leave it in the comments below. But I hope that helped. Happy crafting!